My name is Lamar Tyler, creator and founder of Traffic, Sales, and Profit.
My name is Freddie Taylor, CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals.
And together, today, we're talking about Black business icons, entrepreneurs that paved the way for Black people, just like me and Freddie.
Absolutely.
And like you too. So today, Freddie, it's time to talk about the ladies.
Let's go.
Black girl magic does not even begin. Is that you sprinkle?
Sprinkle it. We about to sprinkle it all over this episode.
It does not even begin to even describe the two women we got for today.
Yeah.
We're talking about two media moguls.
It's the media mogul session.
Two women that started from meager beginnings, right? We tell you, when it comes to Black business icons, we don't want your excuses. These ladies had no excuses, or really they had every excuse and every reason to not be successful, but they denied all those excuses and still got to where they are today.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Cathy Hughes.
Founder,
chairwoman of Urban One. Who you talking about?
The big O, not Oscar Robinson.
No, I already know. When we talk about business, it's one O.
It's only
Oprah
one
Winfrey.
O.
Oprah Winfrey?
Oprah Winfrey, yes.
Okay, all right, this is good. So let me share a little bit about Miss Cathy Hughes first.
Okay.
So Cathy Hughes, born 1947. A lot of people don't know Omaha, Nebraska. Now, one time I was talking to a friend, and Traffic, Sales, and Profit, we have a lot of conferences and stuff, and we have a lot of amazing speakers come through. Somebody said, you need to get this lady, Cathy Hughes, she's done this and done that. And I said, say less. I'm from the DMV. Cathy Hughes is a DMV. She's world renowned, but in the DMV, she's an institution. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Even though she's born in Omaha, Nebraska, eventually moved to D.C. Came to D.C., worked at Howard University, right, in the School of Communications. Got a job working at the radio station on Howard's campus, WHUR. Now, on WHUR's campus, rose from sales to run the station. The station was struggling doing $300,000. She turned the station around for doing $300,000 to $3.5 million.
Wow.
That right there is enough to stop the story.
It is.
But Freddie, I got more.
There's more.
So she did at the time, her and her husband at the moment who she was married to, they say we want to own our own radio station. So they find a station in D.C., WOL. And they say we want to take ownership of it. But here's where things are a little bit different with the Black business icons we talk about here on the show. Her and her husband got turned down by 32 different banks and lenders. 32. Now, if you're watching this, and you mad because somebody answered your DM on Instagram. If you want, Freddie, I done heard this stuff before. Don't laugh. This stuff's happening. You disappointed because you go to your bank and they told you no the first time. 32 different lenders told her no before they got the yes on number 33.
Wow.
But still then, things weren't easy. She takes ownership of WOL, which is also a DMV, DC area institution right now. She takes ownership of WOL radio station. She struggles with it initially, right? Her and her husband divorced. Freddie, at one point, her and her son are sleeping in the radio station because they don't have a place to live. She's sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag. You talk about inspiration.
Yeah.
You talking about doing what it takes to get to what you need to be to. She is the radio host on the morning show. And learned so much, did so much. I saw an interview she did where she talked about she learned every role and every position in that radio station.
Wow.
And she talked about how that time of living in the station, doing every single thing, is really what prepared her and launched her into the media icon that she is today. But being able to go from that, and even during that time, because I don't want to just glaze beyond how it was easy. She said as they were struggling, the bank was saying, well, you know what? You trying to turn this into a talk station. We want you to play more music. And I know nobody out there has ever had somebody try to go against what you think the vision should be or what you think you want to do. So here's what she did. She changed the format to where she did her show Talk in the morning and then did music after that. But grew WOL and turned it all the way around into now WOL is really the founding piece and founding foundation of what we now know as Radio One. And not only did she build Radio One, which if you are Black and you're watching this, you're in the United States, you most likely, if you're in an urban area, got tons of Radio One owned stations in your actual city. But she not only built that, after amassing 70 plus radio stations, then she went public. The first African-American woman to take a company public with Radio One. And then she went from Radio One to then TV One, the TV platform. Now she has Clio TV. Now she also has Interactive One, right? It hosts different websites and media properties. Now she also has Reach Media, which syndicates different radio programs, right? Originally, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, but now Willie Moore Jr., the Erica Campbell Show, tons of others, right? So, I mean, when we talk about media icons, Miss Cathy Hughes is one. She has paved the way for so many others, been an inspiration to so many others, and really, I just want to give her flowers.
Yeah, that was great. All right, so I really appreciate Cathy Hughes' story because everything is in there, right? We have high drama, you got disappointment, you got hard times, and she really overcame a lot. But speaking to the part where she had to stay in the radio station, I remember her talking about that actually being a blessing because it was a 24-hour-a-day station. She was in there 24 hours a day, so she got an opportunity to really dig into all of the pieces and elements that go into building the station. But one other thing, did you catch that she studied under or worked with Tony Brown?
I did.
Yeah. I thought that was fascinating piece
Exactly.
to it. I didn't know, but he's just such a consummate professional and really an important figure in this media space.
Exactly.
So I thought it was great that she got to work and train with him.
And being able to come through, I mean, so many pieces of it, right? Because it's a tie into Tony Brown signed to Howard University. It's a tie into all these pieces, which now, full circle, Howard University has named their School of Communications the Cathy Hughes School of Communications.
Wow.
And such an astute businesswoman, but she showed it as an employee at WHUR on the campus of Howard University back then. And again, I keep saying, you're not just dropped into becoming an amazing entrepreneur when you're 40 years old. Amazing people are amazing at every step of the way, right? They perform at high levels every step of the way, no matter where they are, and they always stand out. Talking about a astute businesswoman, I love it. She said that in her companies, on a slow year, they spend $1 million on research because they're trying to figure out and find out more about their listeners, more about the consumers, right? More about the people that are engaging. And through her companies, they say that 85% of Black America is reached one way or another, whether it's through digital, whether it's through TV, whether it's through the radio. Imagine that. 85% of Black folks are engaging with one of the properties that she owns.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a really good point, though, that in a slow year, she's reinvesting into research, right? I don't think that's a conversation that we have oftentimes in our businesses inside the Black community. I don't recall this being a big topic.
She said at least 1 million. On a
million.
slow year, at least 1 million.
Yeah, so
that means on a good year.
but I think that points to the importance of data, right? Like really knowing and understanding your customer avatar, and going deeper into the psychographics of really who they are and what makes them tick.
Okay, talking about the Black business icons again, as we go like episode by episode, I'm seeing a common thread. I'm seeing work ethic. I'm seeing visionaries.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like legacy where they're passing something down beyond them. I'm seeing them giving something back. Skill set, right? Money. I'm seeing them investing in the struggle. Not just talking about the struggle, not just supporting the struggle, but putting their money where their mouth is. And like you said, like reinvesting the dollars that they're making back into different community efforts to the people that are on the ground and helping them fund different things that happen.
Yeah.
I saw an interview Cathy Hughes did where she talked about during the pandemic a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And how a lot of the companies and people that she started with years ago were struggling, and she was taking part of her money to actually give to those companies to help them make it through.
Wow.
And last, again, just an amazing woman has done amazing things. And talk about legacy. That son that was in the radio station with her went on to become, president of her companies.
Yeah, he's the one
and
took it
now he
from
has
her.
a storied career, right? 30 plus years in media. So how can we take what we're doing and pass it down from generation to generation? Even if we're not passed down the business, we can pass down the money, we can pass down the wealth, we can pass down the connections.
The impact.
The impact, right? The lessons, the knowledge, so many things we can do of what legacy is really tied into.
Just because you're an entrepreneur don't mean you have to make every dollar, right? But you can take those dollars and reinvest it into your community and your people. In fact, she says it's a very important part of success. I really
love it.
appreciate that.
So we're talking about taking dollars and reinvesting back into your people. I know your woman had done this. I didn't see her do it.
Yeah. We talking about the big O, right? The big O, Oprah Winfrey, who has an amazing story, but it begins in struggle. She was born in 1954 in Milwaukee to a single mom, had a tumultuous childhood, rape going on at an early age. Just can imagine the mindset and the experience that she had. It's
Mental
really,
trauma.
Mental trauma, yeah, it was really deep. She got pregnant at 14 and delivered the baby stillborn. And that was like a real jarring moment in her life, which is potentially why she never went on to have children, right? Just the mental weight of delivering a stillborn, I can't imagine, right? That's got to be a pain that's insufferable. But to her credit, she didn't break, she didn't fold. She was down in Nashville, Tennessee area at the time, and then I didn't know this. At 17, she became Miss Black Tennessee.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
she won the beauty pageant, right? And because of her charismatic behavior, she got a job at the local television station, right? So now she's in high school working on her craft, right? On her skill set. And when she went to Tennessee State University, shout out to the HBCUs.
Shout out HBCU showing up on every episode in these streets.
Every episode, we had Howard, right? We had Howard and Tennessee State here. But while she was on campus, she worked really hard at the job. She kept her job, she kept her schools going on. But she talked about kind of regretting not being able to get involved in the social elements of college and not being able to pledge in any of the sororities, join any of the campus groups, because she was so busy maintaining her job and really building the profession that we know that she went on to dominate. But she spoke, I think, about something that's really important to not only our young people, all of us at this time. She talked about being a people pleaser. And she didn't really know how to connect with the other people on campus. The only thing that she had that they didn't was money, because she was working very hard, by the way. But she said she found herself always giving people money or giving them loans or buying pizza for the dorm or whatnot, because she wanted people to like her. But she didn't really understand that the like had to come from the inside. So she was just basically trying to buy them with her cash and capital that she had. I thought that was a really interesting insight, particularly with who she developed to be. Around this time, she, obviously was a very compassionate person and really giving, but she got opportunity after opportunity because of her personality and being able to speak very well. But as she matriculated through the news circuit, she actually gets fired, right? I thought that was really interesting, or demoted is how they termed it, right? And put her on the talk show. I think we're into the late 70s at this point. It was the first time that she ended up on the talk show. And she said it reminded her of like breathing for the first time, like oxygen, like she was awakened by the opportunity. But she spoke about the reason that she got let go or demoted was because during the news telecast, she showed too much emotion and empathy, right? So she's doing
too much.
Too much.
Too much. I just want to be clear on that. Too much.
Yeah, too much. So she's reporting on a fire, a family just lost their home, and she would be crying because she's empathetic to the people in the pain. And this isn't great for being a newscaster,
Correct.
right? So that's how she ended up moving into the talk show space, which obviously was a big blessing in disguise. So eventually she ends up in Chicago, and she takes over like the worst performing daytime talk show, which was up against Phil Donahue. Who
Sound like a setup to me.
Sound like a setup, yeah, you're right about that.
Donahue show wasn't no joke back in that day.
No, Phil was the man.
This dude was big time. It sounded like a setup.
Big time. But after about 6 months, she had completely turned it around and actually started outranking Phil Donahue. This is like 83, 84-ish. And she's starting to dominate. Now she's going national syndication. But this is where I know her genius shined, and this is why she became the billionaire that we know her of. Instead of just renegotiating the contract, she renegotiated ownership of the show and her production company. So this is where she really made the money. It was on this move, because if she would have went on and just continued to be the talent, everybody else would have got rich off of her. But she owned, her show. She owned her rights, her publishing, and all that good stuff, which I think was the key move that she made. Because from '85 on, it became rebranded nationally as the Oprah Winfrey Show. And as they say, the rest is history. But around the early 90s, I believe it was 93, is when she officially became a millionaire. And I think that the ownership of the show and how the show just expanded and continued to grow, her wealth just started to amass really, really fast after that. but she did the Michael Jackson interview, which was the #1 rated interview of all time. She won every award that you can imagine over the years as being the #1 talk show host and all of that. Then in the early 2000s, she
Gave everybody cars?
Yeah.
Is that what I keep waiting. I'm like, hey,
Where did we get a car?
You give everybody a car.
Yeah.
Iconic TV moment.
Right, but that's when the Oprah effect started to take hold, right?
Yeah.
So anything that she touched literally turned to gold. She mentioned a book, it becomes the New York Times bestseller, like immediately.
And you know, that still happens to this day. I did an interview with my good friend Deneen Milner, who is your favorite writer's favorite writer, right? She's ghostwritten tons of books, celebrity books. I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 10 New York Times bestsellers or so. But what she told me when I talked about how traditional publishing works, she told me that the Oprah effect with books still is alive and well today. She said, if you can make it as a feature book for Oprah's book club, that helps you get towards New York Times bestseller status.
She was an influencer before the influencers got
Correct.
influencing, right? When she dropped her old magazine, I think it was 2002, they called it the greatest startup in this space ever.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
and
man.
I still remember the chatter at that time, because what I remember the most is how different it was that she was on the cover. Because it was like, that was the whole thing, like, she's on the cover. Oh, she's gonna be on the cover every month?
Every month, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, who does that? Like, what kind of ego does she have?
Yeah.
Right? But wow, I didn't know what you said. Now, what was it again?
Yeah, it was called the greatest startup.
Greatest startup.
Yeah, in that publishing space ever. Like just because of the platform that she already had and was building out. It's just really an amazing story. Then I believe the middle 2000s is when she started her own network, right, OWN, but they converted the Discovery Health Channel into this platform, and from there, she just continued her meteoric rise. She became a billionaire during this time, which in the 90s, she was one of the richest self-made women in the country, but then she really crossed over into billionaire status in the middle 2000s. Her Oprah effect even bled over into politics, right? As she endorsed a then young senator named Barack Obama, who ended up becoming the president in 2008. So just her effect on everything she touches turns to gold. It's just really an amazing story. Of course, her philanthropically, she's giving back, oh my God, to everyone, everywhere,
Right.
all over the world, from building schools in South Africa to organizations here that she's seeding and funding. I think it just goes back to, again, the entrepreneurs in our community are bigger than just money makers. They have an opportunity to have impact and leave a legacy, even though she doesn't have children, right? But here we go again with an opportunity to have impact on the people that you're affecting around the globe.
And that's a good part, because most time when we think about legacy, we're thinking I have to hand something down to my children, but legacy looks like so much more than that.
Yeah.
And many times the people that inspired me the most around business or wealth creation were not like people in my direct line of my parents, parents, and things like that. It's people I saw in the communities, or people I read about, or people, I picked up a magazine and was exposed to.
Right.
So I think that's something big for everyone that's watching and take away, is that your legacy goes beyond just you and your children. And if you don't have children, it's still a legacy to be had. I love that.
Yeah, it's always a good opportunity to give back, right? We have to affect more people than just our families. Our neighborhoods, our communities are really, really struggling. And they really need us to be great, right? Stop making these excuses that we often make. Okay, yeah, you wasn't born with a silver spoon in the mouth, but neither were any of the entrepreneurs that we've been speaking about. So your opportunity is here, and we need you, like literally.
And y'all heard it, we need you. So this is what we need you to do. Make sure you dig into more about these stories about Oprah Winfrey, Cathy Hughes, and other Black business icons we've been talking about. I can't wait for you to see the next episode, because on the next episode, we're going big.
Big.
Don't tell them nothing, no. Let's stop right there. All right, we'll catch you on the next episode. Lamar Tyler, Freddie Taylor. See you when we go deeper into more Black business icons.
The Convo, your home for conversations on Black entrepreneurship and wealth, available on your favorite platforms.